So welcome back to an episode, and we are in exactly the same place, exactly the same day, albeit a couple of minutes, that where we were last time I left you, because we're continuing, because it's quite early in the day, but we've got to a point where we believe that we're at the end of the episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
So therefore we stopped, and we're going to carry on now.
Stop droning on.
Yeah, and we're going to carry on now. So it's going to be a case of insulation completed, which we're not far off now, are we?
No.
In the roof.
Yeah.
We want to get that in because it's just nicer from doing it above, so you're not underneath it, it's in your face. It's a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even though you're still covered anyway. And we're now going to start removing tiles from the existing roof and putting the lay boards on. So let's have a look at that. So what I've got to do now, I'm going to remove the plastic. I'm going to pull a string line from the top where my new ridge intersects with the trusses. It's a pity that there's not a ridge across there, it is a little bit easier. And then pull it down to this point where I think that line is going to intersect with this rafter line, and I'll show you more later on so you can understand it better. And then I've got to remove my tiles enough so I can get my 9x2 lay board in place to then fit my valley rafters to it. So I'll start that and I'll explain a little bit more as I go. Because I'm doing it the way I am now, trying to change the way I'm filming, I forget where we've got to now. So I think I know where we are, so apologies if I miss something, but ask a question if you need to ask a question. So what I've did there, I've obviously removed my tiles, removed my lath so it's not in my way. Now I don't normally do it, but I've put it on top of my felt, this lay board. I don't normally do that, but because we are where we are and the weather's on and off, I was a bit concerned about stripping the old roof off and then the weather coming down, but as it is, we've been pretty good. So I have marked up these rafters first. You saw me do that with my level and then parallel the line. So at least I put my level on, which you can sort of see there, look. That's levelled up off the wall plate. And as it was, because I was a bit short on my lay board there, I didn't need it any longer than that because my rafter's going further up. It's going actually right on top of that truss actually, so that was quite nice. So all I did was to get this lay board in place, I made sure that this outer line, or this top corner, look, is flush with the ridge at the top, in the same plane as where the rafters hit, all the way across, so that's all the same now. and then I use my level to come across here and sit it so, and you can see obviously it's all in the footage anyway, I made sure that it was touching all of these rafters and then touching this outer corner. Things to be mindful of: if there's a bit of a hump in your roof, that may upset where your lay board goes, but get it in best you can. And if you have got any discrepancies in your roof, now on this I'm fine because it's truss, so it hasn't moved, but if you have got any discrepancy, you can adjust your valley rafters up and down. You haven't necessarily got to come bang onto this line, even though I try to. You haven't got to. You can move it to suit like that to make sure that you pull it through here. Myself and Matt did a couple of checks before I did nail it all the way home. We put a string line across these rafters, again making sure that it was touching all of these rafters and then touching that outer corner of the layboard, which it was, wasn't it, Matt?
It was.
It looked lovely. So I've done that. Again, this was a 4.8, so that's been cut off just to enable me to get it in. If I need it to be longer, I would have actually cut that line in the centre of a truss or an existing rafter and then extended it. But as it was, that's a 4.8, and there's no need for it to be any bigger. I cut my top timber parallel to the ridge, which that's cut, and nailed it all off, as I said. Then what I've done is I have cut my felt back from underneath my layboard, and then I've installed these, a further layboard. It's a valley board. It's to catch when the fiberglass valley comes down my new roof and then onto that one. That's what carries the weight of it to stop the sag, because that's 750 mil, 800 mil, that is, between that truss there at an angle. So there'd be no support at all for the valley board. It's only fiberglass, so it wouldn't support the tiles very well, especially being so big as they are. So that's why I put those in. I should do the same as that on this roof as well. When I put mine in, I should put them in between, sort of here like this, going up this roof to carry the valley. I might have to do the same down here, but I'm not going to touch any of this yet. I'll wait until I've done all of this roof and I've got it watertight. Then I can strip this little bit of a bottom and do exactly what I've done there to make sure the valley goes all the way through to there. And ultimately then I'll know where my new roof's going to cut into it. So myself and Matthew now are going to, I shouldn't call you Matthew, should I? I should call you Matt. Anyway, it's habit now. Excuse me. Me and Matt are going to get some Tyvek felt I've got and run that, put a strip all the way down the valley, and then get the old felt and lap it on top of the new stuff. So when the roofer does come, he hasn't really got a mess other than extending this. This may come off yet, but we've got to get a price for that. See if they're going to have that done as well. But if he doesn't, then this is already waterproof, because I'm going to put this valley felt in and they'll run his felt into it after. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to waterproof this roof by getting some plastic from up there and over the top of this. That is our next job. It's a new day, and because this is the country's the way it is, we had to make sure that we covered it over properly first and properly sheeted it all in, and make sure that we didn't get any water in the house. And as it was this morning, first thing was biblical weather, proper come down this morning, but as you can see again, the sun shines out. We've unexpected visit from Luke today, and he's going to do the internal block work for us. He was going to stop on the job he was on, but he was doing engineering bricks, and engineering bricks in the rain doesn't work, so we can't do that. So he's come here because it's sort of undercover, which is excellent for us because it pushes this on a bit further as well and means we're getting even more towards watertight in there. You will see on the footage just before I started talking, you will see that we have gone round and drilled and fixed all the bolts into the purlins and also into the doubles either side of the Velux. I had to use the clamps just to pull them because they'd twisted a little bit. Pull them together. I nailed them top and bottom first all the way down, and then I put some of these turbo coach bolts in, which I really like, 70mm in there, M10 coach bolts all the way in. And I prefer those, as I've said multiple times before, probably not on this channel though. I prefer those because unlike bolts that normal coach bolts that you put through and tighten with a nut, these can't loosen because they're threaded in, they're screwed in, they can't unloosen, what have you. So that's why I use those, and I've never had a problem with building inspectors saying they don't like them, so there we are, that's why I do that. So you can sort of, you probably can't see them, but I mean you can sort of see them poking above the insulation, you can see them in the all up there and all up there, if you can see it on the footage. So we just had a bit of bite to eat. I'm going to leave Luke to do that. He's just going to form the window open as well for us. And we're going to start stripping this side of the roof, which we won't show you because it's the same as that side. Strip this, put a lay board in and cover it back over. Hello Luke.
Hello.
I've just been saying you've come to join us for the day because you're laying engineering bricks and you can't do it in the rain. Don't like it, does it?
It's good, beautiful weather now, isn't it?
It is beautiful weather now. You could have stopped there and it's because you're missing us. Exactly what it is.
Yep. So I'm back. Come to
block work there, and a window there.
And give the biscuits a good scene.
Give the biscuits a right scene to because we've been slack on that.
No.
Nice.
Reinforcements have arrived.
We have. Reinforcements for eating the biscuits have arrived. So the day is complete, what we can get done today anyway. The weather was kind enough to us, another little bit of drizzle, we're all good. So the block work's complete. That is now the window that we're having right in the centre. So that looks lovely. That's going to be a nice sort of angled window. That'll really nice on the gable there now. We've got our ties, as you can see, in there, ready to go. All I will have to do in there is I've got to put a noggin underneath those to make sure I get plenty fixings in. But they're in. I had to get them in while he was doing that, and myself and Matt have stripped all this again, put the lay board on, put the timbers in to carry the fiberglass valley, and then put all the felt back, put our strip of valley felt in, and then lath and felted sort of temporary back in again. So all I've got to do tomorrow is remove these few tiles, move the felt back. I've already got my measurements for all this valley rafters, and I should be able to get that on tomorrow easily. As long as the weather's kind to me. And then what I'll probably do is I'll probably get that one on as well. I'll probably just pull the plastic back from there, leave it where it is, just pull it back to I can expose my lay board again, get my measurements, even though it should be the same as the other side, but I'll check. And then I'll get that one done as well, all being well. So that's a bonus. The electrician's coming on Thursday, so we'll be able to get all his cables in, all his drops in. And I might even take that out for him, just so he can see where all the walls are and things. However, I might leave it in, just so he can get to do his spots. Who knows? I'll ask him, see what he wants. So that's us. We've had a good tidy up. Thanks, Luke. Luke's going to go back to his other job tomorrow now, to hopefully get more done there. Because he got over here because the weather was rubbish. And when he got over here, it's done nothing but sunshine all day.
Best day.
Best day, yeah. So there we are. Matt is also off tomorrow. He's off to do a job for 3 days to finish some boarding and skimming and what have you at the job where we were at the start of this channel. So that's where he's going to finish that job off. He may get some photos for us, we don't know, but we'll see. That's it then. On to a new day. It's a new day, and I may have already caught it, but I'm on my own today. In the sunshine though, doing one of the things I like the most, that's putting a cut roof on. You've already seen a bit of footage of me cutting my first valley rafter. I had to take all the tiles off, paint the backside, as always, this country, on and off all the time, wasted time, but there we are. And then I've worked out my angles and get the first valley rafter cut. So let's have a closer look and I'll explain what it is you have to do to get to this point. And hopefully if you want to do it yourself, you can take something from it. So you need a few things to get to this point. You need to put your valley board in. And remember, let me just come back, there we are. You need to pull your line all the way across this roof and make sure that when you're sitting flat on the top of these rafters here, all the way across, you come all the way across and you've got to come to that point there. When it sits tight on the roof, not on the laths, it's got to sit to that corner. And that's why, because that's where that's got to sit, look like that, right on that corner. Once you've got that established, you then need to get your measurement. So always measure to your longest side, and when I say longest side, if you can see that's cut at an angle, I'll explain why in a minute, that's your longest side, you need to measure to that point. So what I normally do is I'll go 400, or come 400 centres and pull my tape across and mark it on there like that, look, like that. And then I work my way up, pulling my tape across, and I tend to go back a few rafters so you can pull your tape across and make sure your tape's parallel or 90 degrees to these rafters. Put it all the way across and mark it on there. If you felt more comfortable doing one at a time and then measuring off one at a time, then do that, but I'm comfortable doing it the way I did it. And then I'll write my measurements on the top there. And then you'd have seen on the footage, I got myself a little bit of block of wood, and then I wrote them all on the block of wood and make myself efficient. I cut them all at the same time. However, I wanted to show you people to get to this stage first, and then I'll cut them all and put them on because it won't take me long. So the other things you need to go back to your same plumb cut as these, your main roof, the same seat cut as your main roof. The only difference is then, instead of a square cut or bird's mouth at the bottom, you have to put a compound mitre cut on like that. And you've probably caught it on the footage that at the bottom that's angled this way. And the reason for that is because it's got to sit flat on your lay board. So the angle you then need is the angle of this roof. And it's the same principle of working it out. You get one of these set, you can mark it on there, but all I did in that roof, when I stripped it off, I put my level down the side of the truss, used my roofing square and established that this roof is 26 degrees. So all you do then is you flip your bevel over on your saw, and I'm lucky I've got a big saw so it makes it easier, and then set it to 26 degrees angle. So that's what you do. So same plumb cut as this main roof, same seat cut as your main roof. Difference is you flip your saw over to 26 degrees or whatever this roof is you're cutting into. If your roof's 30, you flip it over to 30 and that's what you get. And hopefully you sort of sit nice and tidy like that, back and front. So you check one first, and I know that works. Now there is a little bit of a dip in this roof. I don't know why it dips here because in its trusses, but I'll show you later on how you can rectify that if you're not exactly bang on when you pull your line or your level across here, because that's what you need to achieve, is make sure that these rafters are full parallel with this one and fully flat on the top. Let's upset the roofer. I'll get all these cut and we'll talk about a few tips again shortly. Oh yes, another one. I will be putting another timber under this side, so once this is all sorted, I can strip these tiles off and I can put another lay board underneath to catch more of this timber at the top. So I'll do that after, but it's enough trying to get this one on. So at least this gets my roof set and I can cover myself in then, and I can just get up underneath here and put that one on after if I need to. Albeit, if I do get time, I can put this one in another lay board in after to carry the complete cut. There we are. Right, let's get this done then. after rain stopping play yesterday, myself and Luke went to the garage and got it all screeded and sorted out the shower tray structure. All we got to do now is get the correct waste, because we were sent the incorrect waste for the shower tray, get it installed. So you would have last seen me putting all my valley board or my valley tray support timbers in all along here, and I got it all covered. And I think I mentioned before that the day before yesterday I spent more time covering and uncovering than I did actually doing the roof, and I mean all the roof at the back. I hadn't done this one because I completely forgot, but I have uncovered it this morning, even though it's threatening rain, and put all those in as well. Again, that's just timbers to catch the fiberglass tray, that's all it's for, just to support those. No other reason for them being there really. So I have started to cover myself back in again, but realised I hadn't really said anything, so I thought I'd best say something and show that I've done this side as well. Right, what I'm going to do now is I've decided that, I think I'd already said anyway, but where my core of my valley, or my centre of my valley is there, valley tray, that's pretty much in line with this point here, where we'd sort of cut this back randomly there. But as it is, it's worked out pretty much that's where it is anyway. So what I've done now, or I will do, I've measured from the brickwork to that plumb cut. I'd already gathered that that was where that was going to be anyway, so I'd cut that before I put that rafter in. I'm now going to transfer that measurement, which is 15 inches from the brick to the face of the plumb cut. I'm going to transfer it onto this side, pull a string line across the top, or a chalk line across the top, and cut all those off in the position ready for the fascia. I'll then work out what I'm going to do in my, or how high my soffit's going to be. It looks like that Luke is going to have to put another couple of coarser bricks on, just to brick it all in so you can't see it once the soffit goes on. And then while I'm messing around in here, I will go ahead and put the 150 insulation in all along there as well while I'm at it. I had noticed there's a little bit missing that corner over there, which some of you already noticed, and some of you may have already commented to say you got missed insulation. But there we are, I have spotted it, and I'm all over it like a tramp on chips. So I'll get this done, and I'll do the same the other side. And then hopefully I can start getting some plastic on today, if I can find a building plastic supplier close to me, because I'm a bit far away from my normal suppliers here, so we shall see. both sides have been structured in then. I didn't film this one because it was exactly the same as the back one. I've then managed to get some fascia and soffit, get the trim on, but look, poles. What I'm going to try and do is go through all the poles I can see in the bird cage in there, or maybe the bracing poles that he's used, and see whether they're any shorter than these to try and get underneath my soffit. If not, that's going to scupper things a little bit. I might have to have a chat with him. And when he does the scaffold the other side of there to allow the roofer to do the far side as well, I might have to get him to change some poles over for me, because I'm the same here as well. Obviously too high for me to allow me to do anything. Finish my roof, do my soffit. And of course I can't do anything else if I don't get the pole shifted. So we shall see. I'm going to get the Velux in on, and it is a Velux, not just a roof window. Get the Velux in on Monday now, because it's the weekend time. And that'll be ready again. All I've got to do is sit it on some 25mm batten, top and bottom, sit the brackets on that. And then the roofers will come along and roof around it, felt round it, and that's a lot better to do it that way, so they can properly felt round it, get it more watertight before they put the flashing kit on. The electrician's coming on Monday to do first fix, and the plumber is coming on, or the gas fitter is coming on Tuesday to extend the boiler flue out of the roof. So that's as it should be. I think he said 300 or 400mm above the tile line, I think he said. But we shall see. We'll have a chat with him on Tuesday and see where we go. So a day has passed. My poles have been moved, and yesterday I completed the fascia and soffit on the front and back, ready for the roofer who's coming tomorrow to make a start. I couldn't film it because the electrician's here doing his first fix, and he was doing a lot of work up here, putting spots in and things like that. So, and he didn't want to be filmed. I can understand that completely, no problem at all. I've also just finished with Sean, our gas engineer, and he has now extended the boiler flue through the roof, albeit it is about 150mm-ish too high, but he said we'll do it high to allow him to pick up the lead soaker, lead protection, I don't know what you call it, around the pipe. So the tiler now can go underneath that with his lath and felt, and then we can then dress that lead back down onto a tile and reconnect the pipe back into the boiler at the correct height once it's all set. So as you can see, all that's complete, all nailed on and ready to go. I've been and bought my box end to do that. I've been and bought my capping board to do along here, but we've got to put 6x2 on the underside of this first to allow us to dress our angled window a bit better, because we've got 40mm of insulation going on the inside of that first. We don't want to drop our window. So anyway, that's hard to explain that one, I'll have to show you that. And I've done the same on the back. That's all done and left watertight, and now I think I'm going to get some lath and sort this Velux out. And this is what I was trying to explain, which I should have done in the first place, is that part there, look. That part there has got to go on top of the tile. So we've done that for now, made it longer. So the roofer can now lift that up, dress underneath it with his lath and felt, and then drop it back down on the tile once he's cut his tiles around it. But I'm just going to put some plastic around that just to stop any water going inside the boiler. So I'll do that in a minute before I go. But I'm going to crack on now, I think, and sort the Velux out. And then I may even get time to put the 6x2 on the underside of this ladder frame. So I put a bit of footage on of me just basically setting my battens out on the Velux, and then the Sparky said, I'll give you a hand just to lift it all in. So of course I had to turn the camera off, but it's all got in place now. It's all got its brackets on the bottom, and because this is a brand new roof, it is all level. I managed to get my margins the same all the way around. That's all in a nice white one. So I managed to get 30 mil to that point. So what I'll be able to do now is I'll be able to put insulated plasterboard on there now, which will come to about there, and then a piece of plasterboard will then go into the slots all the way around, and that will work out lovely, which is what it's meant to do. But what I will do is once the roof's on, I'll be able to foam fill all inside there, or I may even get some, well, maybe it's from 25 mil actually, just push it in. However, we normally just foam all the way around, and then when we insulate plasterboard, it comes out to there anyway, which is why I normally allow the maximum. It's 40 to 60 mil maximum you allow on your width and your height to put your trimmers and your doubles in. But that's what I've done. Yes, I've still got to put my doubles on there. They haven't turned up today. They should have come today, but they didn't. But I can still get in there because it is going to be lathed and felted, not tiled yet. So I can still get up and over there, no bother at all, because these, as you know, push out. I've also got to obviously put a timber in there to take these, to screw these in, because I've got to have full noggins all the way through to carry them. So there's a few jobs to do yet, but this should be coming out tomorrow to start setting up for the other side of the roof, which we won't not working on, for the roofers to put the roof on. So I'll leave that. I've also set my 6x2 on there, look. And what that does, in fact I can show you now. Because we are putting 37.5 of plasterboard on there, what we didn't want to do is when we build it through, all the way through the reveal, we're going to be too low on this soffit if it's the same line as here, because we're going to be 40 mil lower here, but not out there. So hence I put this on to bring us back to the same line again. Anybody want an ice cream? And then I've started to put them on, and then I've put my starter trims on. I've levelled up from the brickwork, put a mark on all my ladder frame members there, look, and then set my 6x2 and my line of that to that, and started that side, soffit on. Got to this side, and there we are. So next time I come back, I'll finish this off. I'll start the stud work inside because that scaffold will be gone. And then we'll be moving very closely to the day where we install glow glass, which, believe it or not, is an infrared heated glass. You put in bifolds and it heats your room up. There we are, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? So if that's something you'll be interested in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also, don't forget to like the video if you like it.